What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Plummy, and welcome back to another episode of the New Artist Spotlight podcast. A couple of quick things before we start. As I mentioned in last week's episode, this is season 2, or we're calling this season 2 here, and a couple of changes are coming with season 2. First of all, as you can see, well, that is if you're watching, we are now doing each episode as a video podcast. And if you're not watching, be sure to check it out at some point when you can. And another exciting announcement is that we have a new co-host. As I mentioned again in last week's episode, we lost Maya for the show, but have no fear, we have a great replacement, and that is none other than Wilco Wilkes. And I got a little picture of him right here. And again, if you're not watching, you don't get to see that. So he should be joining us in the next episode or show. So let's give him a warm welcome and a round of applause. I am very excited. Anyway, let's start the show. So I know you guys want to get back to hearing us chat with artists about their recently released or upcoming music, and we will be back to that for next week's episode. But for this week's episode, I want to talk about something that I feel is pretty important and kind of annoying, and that is music promotion. Now, I'm by no means an expert in music promotion at all. In fact, I've learned everything I know about it from the internet, from people like you at New Artist Spotlight, and from this wonderful guy named John from a website called 2-Story Melody, which is a music blog, and he has a free email-based mini course on there, and I've talked about that before in a blog post on newartistspotlight.org. But you can sign up for that mini course at 2storymelody.com. I highly encourage you to do that if you kind of want to get to know how to promote music a little bit better, and also, obviously, listen to the rest of this episode. And he also has a book out there on promoting indie music that I fully intend to buy at some point here. But anyway, music promotion, right? Not really that much fun, but you gotta do it. You gotta do it if you want to be heard. And it's definitely not something you want to go into completely blind like I did for my first release and almost for my second release. So I'll try to keep things simple and easy to follow in a few steps here while not having to spend crazy amounts of money. All right. Now, step 1, really step 0, is to give yourself time. Seriously, if you are releasing your next single soon and you want to follow steps like these to give yourself a better chance for landing on Spotify playlists or, whether it's a Spotify curated playlist or some bloggers playlist, and if you want to land on some blogs and get some promotion out there, you got to slow down for a second and really give yourself enough time, okay? When I released my last single following these steps here that I'm about to share, I did not give myself enough time, and it kind of sucked. I think I gave myself about 4 weeks, and I was starting from scratch, really learning all of this info at the same time. So I should have probably given myself 6 weeks, and that's what I would recommend to anybody if you're doing this for your first time. Give yourself 6 weeks. If you're a little bit more experienced, you can give yourself 4 probably, and you'll be okay. But and what I mean by that 6 weeks is when you go to upload to like DistroKid or whoever your distributor is, set your release date for 6 weeks in advance. Because time goes by really quick, and like I said, I didn't know what I was doing, and I pushed stop through DistroKid, and then after that I built my website, and after that I built my EPK, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. But that, it takes time, and if you want to be pitching to a bunch of blogs and Spotify, you just really want some breathing room. So the next step after that is to build your EPK, so you can email that out to bloggers and playlisters. And really, now that I think about that, that should maybe be even before you submit your song for distribution, because it just, again, it gives you more breathing room, and that's something you're going to really, really want. I can't emphasize it enough, as you can tell. But an electronic press kit, or an EPK, is just a nicely packaged bundle of things surrounding your release. And these things are going to be your song link, artist bio, a press release about the song you're releasing, an artist brief, some photos, album art, some previous coverage if you have any, and of course, social media links. And you're going to want to package this all up nice and neat, either on your website or a Google Doc. Either is fine. I chose to do a website because I like the look of it a little bit better, and I kind of had fun doing my website, but you can definitely do a Google Doc, and it'll come across as just fine and professional. Tons of people do it nowadays, so don't feel bad if you don't want to spend money building a website quite yet. And you can have a look at mine if you want. I just chose to do it as a hidden page on my website, plummymusic.com/myepk. But anyway, in the EPK, album art and social media links are hopefully pretty self-explanatory. I think you should should know what those are just by the name. And then for the song link, just upload your release to YouTube or SoundCloud. Then make that private and place that link in your EPK. Because honestly, literally nobody is going to go out there. If you send an email to a blogger and you attach like a WAV or an MP3, none of them are going to go download that, because they get hundreds and hundreds of emails a week, and they're not going to sit there and download hundreds of songs to listen to. So just put it as a private SoundCloud link, or YouTube might be a little bit better. I think the audio quality is better. I don't know. For some reason, my sound sounds so like over compressed, and the highs just sound awful and like kind of underwater when I upload to SoundCloud. But yeah, just give yourself the best chance at success, and do that by putting your song in as a link online, so they can just click it and hit play, and easy peasy for them. Yeah, make it easy for the bloggers. And then the next part I mentioned was the artist bio, and this should be a few hundred words, like 200 to 300 words. Write it in third person, and you want to make this objective and not really gushy or anything like that, you know. Just make it kind of honest and matter of fact like. And honestly, what I did is I just went to like a few of my favorite artists. Like I remember I went to Alt J's and Pink Floyd and stuff like that on Spotify or Wikipedia, and I just read theirs, and I took parts that I liked from it, and then I made my bio in the EPK based off of that. And yeah, it ended up being pretty easy. One thing you're going to want to do with that is you're going to want to make sure you use good grammar and, you know, be professional with it, of course. Have someone proofread this stuff to you, if you can, too, because that's going to be really important. Obviously, proofread it yourself, but it's always good to have a second pair of eyes on their proofreading. Next up is the press release. Now, for the press release, you can make this a little bit more gushy. And what it's going to be is it's going to be you telling the story of your new release, like the story behind the song, what it's about, maybe some influences, stuff like that. You can definitely Google press releases and head over to newartistspotlight.org /blog and check out the Saturday content. I wrote a blog kind of covering the same topic, music promotion, in a little bit more detail. Just works different, obviously, over a podcast than in text, but head over there and you can kind of check out what press releases look like. And like I said, Google them too. But yeah, I just made mine up for my last song, Stop, and the bloggers do not need to know that. It is it's between you and yourself only. But yeah, so once you get that done, then you can move on to the next step, which is an easy step, the artist brief. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a brief description about you or your band, 1 or 2 sentences. And mine verbatim is as follows. Based in Minneapolis, Minnesota, alt-pop artist Plummy delivers engaging and memorable music that blends together bluesy guitar sections, catchy melodies, and evocative lyrics. His latest single, Stop, is a dark disco pop rock song with a ferocious groove and a memorable hook. Nice and easy, right? And that's actually the first part of my bio, too. So you can reuse this kind of stuff throughout, which, makes it easier. And really, speaking of reusing, when you have your next release, you can reuse a lot of this EPK. Obviously, you're going to want to change the press release, but the bio and stuff, just tweak it a little bit. Your brief, tweak it a little bit. But that's the nice part, is once you have this down, you can reuse it for your next release. Yeah. As far as photos go, I recommend taking a few fresh photos, either by yourself or with a friend, if you have a friend who can help out to get some better poses and stuff like that. Nowadays, phones have incredible cameras, right? My front-facing camera on my phone here is seriously better than the main camera on my last phone, which was, I don't know, 3 or 4 years ago. But it's just crazy how good these cameras are. So don't be afraid that if you don't have one of those DSLR or whatever cameras, you can do it all on your phone. And there's plenty of free, great, inexpensive, free or inexpensive softwares out there, apps on your phone that you can download to edit all of these, okay? And makes it nice and easy. And then put those photos in your EPK, upload them to Instagram, start drumming up a little hype around your release. I think it really makes a big difference. People get excited when they kind of see a new look from you, or people just like to look at stuff that's cool. And I also think it's a big thing for Spotify too. They say they look for social media updates and stuff like that surrounding your release. So you're going to want to definitely do this step. Don't be lazy, and it's also really a great place to get creative and have some fun. The photos, that is. So yeah, just like your music, be creative, have fun. Now the last thing I mentioned that you're going to want to include in your EPK is your previous coverage. So be sure to include any of the links, like if you've been covered in blogs and stuff before. If it's your first time, obviously you won't have too much, but you can if you choose to do stuff like the 10 questions with New Artist Spotlight, or the podcast with New Artist Spotlight. And another thing, if you've had other songs, you might have been lucky enough to have been reviewed in Connolly's Corner by Charles Connolly. And this is seriously, I cannot emphasize this enough. This is great free publicity that you guys should all be taking advantage of if you're a member of the New Artist Spotlight. I mean, you can throw all this stuff in your EPK and on your website or whatever. Post it to Instagram. Spotify sees it. The bloggers see it. They're more likely to cover you if you have presence online. Like I said, it's completely free from New Artist Spotlight. Sometimes I feel like not enough people take advantage of this stuff. You got to do it. It's all free and it's easy to do. The 10 questions does not take more than a half an hour to fill out nicely. The podcast, if you want to hop on the show with me and Wilco, it's like a half-hour interview one day, and then it's out there forever. So take advantage of this kind of stuff, guys. But yeah, Spotify and bloggers, like I said, they look for this kind of stuff. It gives you some clout. Who doesn't like clout? I love clout. Yeah. Get all this stuff neatly bundled up and into your EPK. All right. Then you can start submitting these EPKs to blogs. Google some EPK examples, like I said, to see how it's all laid out. Proofread. No spelling mistakes, no grammar mistakes. Keep it professional. No emojis, Ed Eagle. I know you want to use that tongue stick out emoji. No emojis in your EPK. But yeah, like I said, if you want a little bit more detail on the EPKs and stuff, head over to newartistspotlight.org/blog. Click Saturday content. And as of right now, I think it's the top, like the most recent post on there was promoting music on a budget. So yeah, read that. Take the time to learn this stuff, guys, because it's very, very important. Now, you got your EPK built. You gave yourself some time. So now the next part is, in my opinion, like literally the worst part, and that is submitting to blogs. And it just takes a ton of time, and it's tedious. It's kind of necessary though. You got to do it. But yeah, like I said, this is my least favorite part, and I think this is probably a part a lot of people hate about music promotion, artists anyway, who are doing this all themselves. Obviously, you could hire a PR firm or something. But anyway, a couple of things to note before you start submitting to blogs, and I learned this again from that email course I talked about earlier from John of Two Story Melody. There's different tiers of blogs, okay? There's a small tier, medium tier, and the large top tier. Now, the small tier are going to be kind of like the bedroom hobby blogs. They're going to probably have something like Wix.com in the domain, or Tumblr.com, or WordPress. And these are people just doing it for hobbies, but you probably most likely to get coverage with them, although they're, like I said, they're the smaller tier. They don't have a huge audience or anything like that. Medium ones have a bit bigger following, and these are places like Two Story Melody, and they're a little bit more professional. They're a little harder to get into, but they also like to premiere songs. So what that means is they get kind of like exclusive coverage for a new release. So reach out to them for music premieres. Be like, hey, do you want to premiere my song? But you can only have one place premiere it, just an FYI. And then the large places are places like Pitchfork, Rolling Stone. And yeah, I mean, I've been covered in those, time and time again. Just kidding. Someday. But probably don't shoot for those right now, because those are going to be a little bit tougher to get into. Someday, though. Someday. And then the next thing to note is to make sure that you are taking time to browse and vet these blogs. Make sure that they fit the style of music that you are creating. So if you're out there making, heavy metal or folk music, and you try to submit to a blog that does like good old fashioned mumble rap, probably not going to work out too great for you. You're going to want to track each of these submissions, and the easiest way I think to do this is a spreadsheet. I learned that tip again from John. But track stuff like the contact info, the website address, the date you pitched, any notes you want to put in there, whether or not they accepted, and then also track if you followed up or not, because actually a lot of coverage happens after the first email you shoot. So like you pitch to a blog, you don't hear anything from a week. You follow up with them, and then, hey, maybe they're like, oh yeah, sorry, I didn't get back to you, but we like your song. So I think like 50% of coverage actually happens after following up. So don't skip that step. But like I said, just makes it more tedious, sending all those emails and keeping track of everything. So, but yeah, keep track of it in a spreadsheet. Another thing to keep in mind when you're pitching is step 0, like we talked about earlier, time. Give yourself time, give the bloggers and the playlisters time, because they're not going to want to, like, if you submit to them the night before your release or 2 days before, they're not going to take that. What are you, crazy? No. Give yourself at least a week, preferably 2 weeks, I think they like. Just keep that in mind. Always keep time in mind. Time is money. So you might be asking yourself now, where do I find all of these blogs? Well, one place, obviously, Google. Just Google indie music blogs and words like that. You'll find some there. It's a pain in the butt. Another place to look for them is that blog I keep mentioning, newartistspotlight.org/blog, the Saturday content. I put a list of like 59 blogs that'll listen to your music, and I think another top 14 of 2021 blogs to pitch to. So go there, check out those, pitch to those guys if they fit your style. And then another great place is to go to like Instagram, the musician friends that you're following on there. Check out and see who they've pitched to successfully when they're promoting their blog coverage. And then if your music is similar or if it's like close, definitely pitch to them too. You might have a better chance too at stuff like that. And remember, when you're emailing these bloggers, keep the email professional. Keep it, short and sweet, not too long. They get tons of these a week, and they don't want to have to sit and read through a ton of words. They might end up ignoring them. And include a link to your song in the email. Include a link to your EPK, and maybe even a little bit something about why you like their blog to keep it personal. Oh, and your artist brief too. Don't want to forget that. And yeah, it's a ton of work if you're submitting to tens of hundreds of these for your release. And like I said, over and over and over and over, it's tedious and it sucks. And I hate this part, but you got to do it. And the bad part is you're going to get ignored a lot and rejected a lot. And that part is obviously no fun. So try not to lose your mind when you're doing this part. Yeah. That's about all I have for submitting to blogs. So I'll move on to the next part, which is what I actually like a little bit better, but probably what most of you people hate the most, and that is SubmitHub. And for those of you who don't know what SubmitHub is, it is a website. You sign up for it. You build your bio. I think I put a link to my EPK in the bio in the bio of SubmitHub for me. And you can easily pitch to a bunch of blogs at once, pretty much by going through a couple of steps and then checking which blogs you want to pitch to. Now, you can do free credits, and I think you're limited to like 2 or 4 of those every hour or every 2 hours. I don't know. I've never actually done the free one. You can buy credits, and they're about $1 each. The more you buy, the more you save for these. So if you buy like 100 credits to submit, I think it's $80. But if you buy 20, it's like $20. So, and then there's different tiers in between. But I recommend buying if you can afford, if you like, save some budget for promotion for this part. And the reason a lot of people hate this is because you get some really stupid feedback, and I've got it too. It's just like feedback that doesn't make sense. Like I submitted a pop song and it said too poppy, and this was to a pop blog. Like what? That doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't, and it does get annoying. But in my opinion, it's kind of like the same thing with the blogs, where you get weird feedback from them, or they just straight up ignore you. And the nice part about SubmitHub, other than it being like super fast and easy to submit to a bunch at once, is that you can select guaranteed feedback when you are submitting, and they have to listen for at least 20 seconds. And then I think it's 10 words of feedback they have to give you. And I really like this part of it. So that would be, you have 2 options when you're submitting to SubmitHub, either the guaranteed feedback or guaranteed listen for 90 seconds. And always choose the guaranteed feedback, because they're going to probably listen for more than 90 seconds anyway, or for more than 20 seconds anyway. And then you get guaranteed feedback. I think the first time I did it, I was like, yeah, I want them to listen to it, to really get into it. But nothing out of that. And then when I chose the guaranteed feedback, at least I could kind of, tell what these bloggers are looking for. And I did get accepted a few times. I think I submitted like 20 or 30 ones. I didn't do enough really. But I got like 4 or 5, which isn't a great approval exception rating, but I didn't get anything from the blogs, and maybe that's why I'm sour towards the blogs. But yeah, SubmitHub, seriously, I know it sucks for a lot of you because the weird feedback you get and the pretty much 90% rejection rate or whatever it is, but you just gotta pay and do a little bit more at this part, and you'll get something out of it eventually, I think, anyway. So yeah, we covered the time, we covered your EPK, submitting to blogs, submitting to SubmitHub. And the last thing you want to do for your new song is pitch to Spotify to land on a coveted and fabled Spotify playlist. Now, I've never landed on one. A few people at New Artist Spotlight have, I think 6 or 7 or 8. So huge congrats to everybody there who has. I don't really know like the best tips for it. I can only tell you what Spotify says and what other people off of New Artist Spotlight have said who have landed on Spotify playlists thanks to the AMAs, the Ask Me Anythings. One thing obviously is timing. again. Now, I talked about the blog timing. You want to give yourself at least a week. With Spotify, I think you want to give yourself do it as soon as you can, as soon as it opens up for you on Spotify for artists. And you're going to definitely want at least 2 weeks. I think you need 2 weeks if you want to land on release radar. So give yourself ample time with that, just like with everything. The other thing you're going to want to do is freshen up your Spotify bio and your profile picture on Spotify. That's what they say anyway. Give yourself kind of a new look, a little makeover. Spotify says they look for this kind of stuff. I don't know if it's true or not. We'll never know unless we have a true insider there. But yeah, take the time to freshen up your Spotify, your bio. You can use the bio from your EPK. That's what I did. I just copy and pasted it right into my Spotify bio to make it look a little more pro. Put some of those pictures that you took earlier, put that in your Spotify bio. And apparently Spotify also looks at stuff like your Instagram and Twitter. So when you're uploading to there, it should be good. It should be only a benefit for you. When you pitch it, and this was advice that I learned from an AMA on New Artist Spotlight, make sure you're kind of including some Spotify playlists that you think your song would fit into in the pitch. So be hey, I think this would really fit in if you're submitting a rock song, name off a couple of rock Spotify curated playlists in your pitch. Apparently this helps get it to the right person. Make sure you're selecting the right genres when you're pitching, obviously. I don't know. Hopefully someday it'll work out for me when I do that. And then you're going to want to get those pre-saves too. And once again, New Artist Spotlight is great for this because we're a decent sized community and we can help out with getting the pre-saves. So make sure you submit your pre-save links on our Discord server to help with that. And then if your release date passes and you still haven't landed on a Spotify playlist, don't worry, because you can still land, I think, up to 4 weeks after, maybe even later, on a Spotify playlist, a Spotify curated playlist after your release date. So don't give up. Just keep going, keep fighting, keep being active on social media and all that stuff. I have faith in you that you can do it, and someday I'll be there with you. We'll all do this together. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for promoting music, at least at a basic level on a cheap budget. So I hope you guys get some use out of this. I think, I don't know, all the stuff I learned was definitely helpful because, like I said at the beginning, I was just completely blind at all of this. I had no idea what I was doing when I released my first song. Now I got a little bit of an idea what I'm doing, still learning. And if you guys have any tips, please feel free to share those either in the comments of this video or on the New Artist Spotlight Discord server or wherever. And we appreciate that. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that little music promotion mini podcast course, or whatever you want to call it. And like I said, next week we'll be back to artist interviews, hopefully with our boy Wilco Wilkes right here. He's gonna fast rap for us too on the show. I'm gonna beatbox and he'll fast rap right over that. Maybe not. On to announcements now. Don't have a whole lot. Obviously, Nazapalooza, May 28th, the first date. If you missed last week's episode and kind of some details, we got so many submissions, we're going to be splitting those up now. So that should be fun. And what I mean by splitting them up is we're going to have a June date, a July date, and maybe an August date. Kind of have it be like a summer thing, and we'll see where it goes from there. So keep your eyes peeled for that. I think it should be pretty fun and really cool, little concert thing for New Artist Spotlight. Then I want to give some shout outs now to some other fellow podcasters in true New Artist Spotlight spirit, help promote each other. First one is VIX20 and their podcast show, VIX Essentials. You can find them on Mixcloud or their website, I think just VIX20.com. Ed Eagle was on an episode. I was lucky enough to be on an episode, and I think they're going to look for some more new artist spotlight artists to be on there. So be sure to check out their show. It's fantastic. I love the format. It's great. Just like with all these people I'm about to shout out. And the next one is Megalomodas. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. But yeah, he recently joined the new artist spotlight too. He helps out with some YouTube content. Great guy, great show. Of course. I'll put links to all these in the podcast description too, so you guys can check them out. And then, of course, the last one is New Artist Spotlight, longtime member, the Enrons, their podcast, Your New Favorite Song podcast, and which is another, it's a fun show. They've got a great sense of humor, and they just do a great job. Be sure to check out that show too. Follow all these guys on Instagram. Like I said, I'll try to put links in the description of this episode so you guys can easily find that. And that's about it for announcements and shout outs. So let's move on to this week's top 20. All right, coming in at number 20 is Tom Duggan with Broken Trust. At 19, Left Hand Black, Let's Scare Jessica to Death. At number 18, my boy, right here again, Wilco Wilkes. Stalked by a Stranger. At number 17, Simone Vignini with Wait. Number 16, Dangerline, The One. At number 15, it's Chris with Wonderland. At number 14, SRV Music Maker, The Brighter Side. Number 13, Icarus by Peyton McCarthy. At number 12, Cleopatra, Crimson Discord. At number 11, Reinhard Weisler and DJ Connery with Give Me Your Hand. At number 10, it's Eric Mathis and Elion Melody with Change Your Mind. At number 9, Sean Al with Forever Young. At number 8, it is The Wizard Sovereign with Nightmare. Or Royal Nightmare, sorry. Whoops. At number 7, Dorian Whisper, Good Days and Bad Days. At number 6, one of my all-time favorites, Panties by Skinny Dippers. At number 5, it's The Blindfold Experience with Paradise. At number 4, Rod Fritz and his new song, Take the World With Me. At number 3, me, Plummy, stop. At number 2, Charles Connolly with the birthday song. And at number 1, it is JHM and his brother-in-law, Ed Eagle, the founder of New Artist Spotlight, with A Perfect Boy. I think that's the first time, Ed doesn't let himself get in the top 20 unless he's... He can't leave out JHM, so he gets in this way. But it's his first time, I think, ever being top of the top 20. So huge congrats to him. That's A Perfect Boy. I think I forgot to say the song name. JHM and Ed Eagle, A Perfect Boy. Congrats to you guys. Be sure to head over to newartistspotlight.org. Check out, like I said, our blog post. Check out all of our great content out there. We've got 10-question interviews with artists from around the world. We got all these podcast episodes that you should be listening to if you haven't already. And we've got the awesome reviews by Charles Connolly in Connolly's Corner. So once again, that website is newartistspotlight.org. You can find all our social media links out there. And let's end the show now with A Perfect Boy by JHM and Ed Eagle.
He was a perfect boy. And he never got annoyed. He was happy and carefree, no worries. He never cried out loud. He never lied out loud. Oh, he kept it all inside. Yeah, there was no place left to hide. pretend. Yeah, there's nothing to pretend.